That can sitting in your pantry looks harmless. It promises convenience. It promises safety. But what if I told you it could be slowly poisoning you? From sky-high sodium levels that spike your blood pressure overnight, to invisible chemicals linked to heart disease and kidney damage, these canned foods are hiding dangerous secrets. Today, we're exposing 9 Canadian canned foods you need to avoid at all costs, and 2 that are actually safe for seniors. Coming in at number 9, we've got Campbell's Condensed Soup. For over a century, Campbell's has been the name Canadians trust. Those iconic red and white cans have sat in our pantries for generations. The label says, good. The advertisements show wholesome families enjoying hearty meals. What they don't show you is what's really lurking inside that can. Let's start with sodium. A single can of Campbell's Cream of Mushroom Soup contains a staggering 2,175 milligrams of sodium. That's nearly your entire daily recommended intake in one sitting. For seniors managing high blood pressure, that's not just concerning, it's dangerous. Health Canada recommends adults consume no more than 2,300 milligrams of sodium per day, but the ideal target for those over 50 with cardiovascular concerns is closer to 1,500 milligrams. One can of Campbell's soup can blow past that in minutes, but it gets worse. For years, Campbell's used BPA, bisphenol A, in their can linings. This industrial chemical has been linked to heart disease, high blood pressure, and diabetes, exactly the conditions seniors are most vulnerable to. While Campbell's claimed they transitioned away from BPA by 2017, the replacements they're using, like acrylic and polyester linings, haven't been studied long enough to know if they're truly safe. Independent testing by Consumer Reports found BPA levels in Campbell's chicken noodle soup ranging from 54.5 to 102 parts per billion. A 165-pound adult eating just one serving could ingest levels approaching what causes adverse effects in laboratory studies. The company promised safety. The science tells a different story. And here's what stings the most. Campbell's was caught quietly increasing sodium levels in their Select Harvest soups back in 2011. When sales dipped, their solution wasn't better ingredients. It was more salt. They bumped sodium from 480 milligrams per serving to 650 milligrams. They chose profits over your health. If you're on blood pressure medication, if you're watching your heart health, this brand has been quietly working against you for decades. Coming in at number 8, we've got Chef Boyardee canned pasta. This one hits home. Many of us grew up on Chef Boyardee. Those little cans of ravioli and spaghetti were comfort food. They were easy meals when life got busy. The brand still markets itself as a wholesome, affordable option for families. But behind that friendly chef on the label is a nutritional nightmare that's especially dangerous for anyone over 50. Let's break down what's actually in that can. A single serving of Chef Boyardee beef ravioli contains 800 milligrams of sodium. But here's the catch. Who eats just one cup? The can contains multiple servings, and most people finish the whole thing. That means you could easily consume over 1,600 milligrams of sodium in one meal. For seniors with kidney disease, that level of sodium can be devastating, forcing already strained kidneys to work overtime. Then there's the sugar. You read that right. Sugar in pasta. Chef Boyardee uses high fructose corn syrup in their tomato sauce. One can contains up to 10 grams of sugar, nearly as much as a bowl of Frosted Flakes. For diabetics, this hidden sugar can cause blood glucose spikes that are difficult to manage. The ingredient list reads like a chemistry textbook. Modified cornstarch, sodium phosphate, sodium nitrite, caramel color, and mysterious flavorings that the company won't disclose. The Environmental Working Group flagged Chef Boyardee products for containing ingredients linked to cancer, specifically sodium nitrite, which can form carcinogenic compounds when heated. Here's a statistic that should concern every senior watching this. Consuming just 50 grams of processed meat daily, about what's in a can of Chef Boyardee beefaroni, increases your risk of colorectal cancer by 18%. That's according to the World Health Organization. The label says, no artificial preservatives. The reality is, these cans are loaded with additives that your body doesn't need and can't safely process, especially as we age. Most people never learn how to protect themselves from these hidden dangers. But we'll break it down at the very end of the video with options that are actually safe. Stick around, because what comes next might surprise you even more. Want the real truth about what's on your plate? Subscribe now so you never get blindsided by hidden food dangers that could affect your health. We expose what the food industry doesn't want you to know every single week. Coming in at number 7, we've got Spam. Spam has been around since 1937. It fed soldiers during World War II. It became a cultural icon. Hormel Foods markets it as a versatile, affordable protein source. What they don't advertise is that Spam is one of the most dangerous processed foods a senior can eat. Let's start with what's inside. A single 2-ounce serving of Spam, that's barely a few slices, contains 790 milligrams of sodium. That's 1/3 of your entire daily allowance in a tiny portion. But nobody eats just 2 ounces. Finish half a can, and you've consumed nearly 600 milligrams of sodium. For anyone managing hypertension, that's a recipe for a blood pressure spike. The saturated fat content is equally alarming. 2 ounces contains 6 grams of saturated fat, about 30% of what a healthy adult should consume in an entire day. For seniors managing cholesterol or recovering from cardiac events, that fat can directly contribute to arterial plaque buildup. But here's what really concerns health experts: sodium nitrite. Spam contains this preservative to maintain its pink color and prevent bacterial growth. When sodium nitrite is exposed to high heat, it converts to nitrosamines, compounds that are proven carcinogens. Studies have linked nitrosamine exposure to increased risks of stomach cancer, thyroid cancer, and brain tumors. The World Health Organization classifies processed meats like Spam as Group 1 carcinogens, the same category as tobacco smoking. That's not fear-mongering, that's science. And there's more. Research shows that excessive sodium consumption from foods like Spam can lead to kidney stones and kidney disease. Since your kidneys process sodium, overloading them year after year can cause permanent damage. The National Kidney Foundation specifically warns against processed meats for anyone with kidney concerns. Spam also contains sodium phosphate, an additive linked to accelerated aging and vascular damage. A study found that high phosphate levels may increase mortality rates in older adults. The convenience isn't worth the cost to your health. Doesn't it feel like the government protects the food industry more than consumers? Why are foods with chemicals banned in Europe still considered safe in Canada? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Coming in at number 6, we've got Progresso Soup. Progresso positions itself as the healthier alternative to Campbell's. Their marketing emphasizes real ingredients and traditional recipes. The cans feature appetizing photos of chunky vegetables and hearty proteins. For years, health-conscious Canadians have reached for Progresso, believing they were making a better choice. The truth is far from what the label promises. In 2010, testing by Consumer Reports found that Progresso vegetable soup contained 22 micrograms of BPA per serving, a shocking 116 times higher than the recommended daily limit suggested by safety experts. That's not a typo, 116 times higher than what scientists consider safe. BPA is an endocrine disruptor. It mimics estrogen in your body, throwing your hormonal system into chaos. For men, this can affect prostate health. For women, it's been linked to breast cancer risk. For everyone, BPA exposure is associated with heart disease, diabetes, and neurological problems. When confronted about these findings, Progresso acknowledged the concerns, but offered no concrete timeline for removing BPA from their packaging. They posted vague statements on social media, essentially copy-pasting the same response to worried customers. Years later, while some progress has been made across the industry, the company never provided the transparency consumers deserved. Beyond BPA, Progresso soups carry the same sodium burden as their competitors. Their chicken and wild rice soup contains over 1,800 milligrams of sodium per can. Their clam chowder, even higher. For seniors watching their blood pressure or managing heart failure, these levels can be clinically significant. The Canadian Food Inspection Agency's recent survey found BPA and BPA alternatives in 41% of canned food samples tested. That means even cans marketed as BPA-free may contain substitute chemicals, like BPS and BPF, that researchers say could be equally harmful or worse. You trusted the label, The label didn't tell you the full story. Coming in at number 5, we've got no-name canned vegetables and beans. Loblaw's no-name brand is Canada's budget-friendly staple. Those bright yellow labels promise value without sacrificing quality. For seniors on fixed incomes, no-name products seem like the smart choice. But testing has revealed troubling patterns that shoppers deserve to know about. A 2016 investigation by Environmental Defence Canada tested canned foods from the 3 largest Canadian grocery retailers: Loblaws, Sobeys, and Walmart. The results were alarming. 81% of cans purchased from Canadian retailers contained BPA in their inner lining. All 3 of Loblaw's private labels, including No Name, President's Choice, and Great Value, tested positive. BPA has been declared toxic by the Canadian federal government since 2010. Yet more than a decade later, it's still showing up in the cans on our grocery store shelves. Data from the Canadian Health Measures Survey links BPA levels in urine to hyperactivity and reduced prosocial behavior in children and adolescents. For seniors, the concerns are cardiovascular health, hormonal disruption, and increased diabetes risk. The sodium content in no-name canned vegetables is another concern. While fresh vegetables contain virtually no sodium, a single cup of no-name canned green beans can contain over 300 milligrams, canned corn, over 350 milligrams. These numbers add up quickly, especially for seniors who consume multiple servings daily. And then there are the recalls. President's Choice Mediterranean sea salts and Himalayan pink rock salts were recalled in early 2025 due to contamination with pieces of plastic. President's Choice Telecherry black peppercorns faced a similar recall just weeks earlier. PC Blue Menu margarine was recalled nationally for possible mold contamination. When a company experiences multiple recalls across different product lines in rapid succession, it raises questions about quality control. Are these isolated incidents or signs of systemic problems? Don't go yet. The worst offenders are still coming up, and the solution you need is at the very end. Most seniors never learn what's actually safe to buy. You will. Coming in at number 4, we've got Del Monte canned fruits and vegetables. Del Monte has been a household name since 1886. Their canned peaches, green beans, and corn have graced Canadian dinner tables for generations. The label shows vibrant, fresh-looking produce. The reality inside that can is less appetizing. Consumer Reports testing found that Del Monte fresh-cut green beans Blue Lake contained BPA levels ranging from 35.9 to 191 parts per billion. That highest sample, 191 parts per billion, represented the highest BPA level of any product in their entire test. An adult eating just 1 serving of those green beans could ingest BPA levels 80 times higher than what independent experts consider the safe daily limit. For seniors, this matters because BPA doesn't just pass through your system harmlessly. It accumulates. It disrupts. Research links chronic BPA exposure to increased risk of heart attacks, heart disease, and diabetes, conditions that already affect millions of Canadians over 50. But Del Monte's problems extend beyond BPA. Their canned fruits are often packed in heavy syrup, loaded with added sugars. A single serving of Del Monte sliced peaches in heavy syrup contains 21 grams of sugar. For diabetics, that's a blood sugar nightmare disguised as a healthy snack. The sodium content in Del Monte vegetables is similarly problematic. Their canned corn contains over 360 milligrams of sodium per serving. Their green beans hover around 380 milligrams. For seniors managing hypertension or kidney disease, these levels can contribute to fluid retention, elevated blood pressure, and increased strain on organs that are already working harder as we age. Here's what's particularly frustrating. Fresh and frozen vegetables contain virtually no sodium and no BPA. They're often cheaper per serving when on sale. The convenience of canned foods comes at a hidden health cost that companies like Del Monte don't advertise. Coming in at number 3, we've got Great Value canned foods from Walmart. Walmart's Great Value brand is the go-to for budget-conscious Canadians. The low prices are tempting, especially for seniors watching every dollar. But when it comes to canned foods, you're not just paying with money, you're paying with your health. Great Value canned products have been caught up in multiple recalls and safety concerns. In July 2024, Great Value plant-based refrigerated beverages were recalled nationally due to Listeria monocytogenes contamination. Listeria is particularly dangerous for seniors. It can cause severe illness, hospitalization, and even death in older adults with weakened immune systems. The CFIA's investigation into that recall revealed that the facility producing these products did not properly implement environmental swabbing and finished product testing. Translation: quality control failed. And this wasn't an isolated incident. Great Value products were also implicated in the widespread frozen waffle recalls of late 2024, when Listeria contamination forced the removal of dozens of products from shelves nationwide. 4 separate Listeria-related frozen waffle recalls hit Canadian stores in just over a week. Beyond recalls, Great Value canned foods share the same fundamental problems as other budget brands. Testing found BPA in Walmart's private label cans. Sodium levels are comparable to name brands, often exceeding 350 milligrams per serving for vegetables. The Environmental Working Group gave Coca-Cola, Del Monte, Kraft, Unilever, and Walmart failing grades for their BPA policies. These companies have been slow to adopt safer alternatives, prioritizing cost savings over consumer safety. When you're buying Great Value canned goods, you're gambling. Sometimes you get a safe product. Sometimes you get one that should have been recalled before it ever reached the shelf. Isn't it strange how billion-dollar food companies keep having recalls, yet their products are still on every shelf? Do you think recalls are accidents, or just the ones they actually got caught on? Let us know what you think below. Coming in at number 2, we've got canned tuna. And yes, this includes popular brands like Cloverleaf, Oceans, and store brands. Canned tuna is marketed as a healthy protein source. It's affordable. It's convenient. It's packed with omega-3 fatty acids. For seniors watching their budgets and their waistlines, it seems like the perfect choice. But there's a catch, and it's swimming in mercury. Tuna, especially albacore, white, tuna, accumulates mercury because these fish live long lives and eat other contaminated fish. Mercury is a neurotoxin. It affects fine motor coordination, speech, sleep, and cognitive function. For seniors already concerned about brain health and dementia prevention, regular tuna consumption adds an unnecessary risk. Consumer Reports testing found significant mercury levels across major canned tuna brands. Some samples contained levels approaching FDA limits for safe consumption. The problem is that mercury exposure is cumulative. Eating tuna 2 or 3 times a week, which many Canadians do, can push exposure into concerning territory over time. In February 2025, a massive recall hit the canned tuna market. Tri-Union Seafoods recalled products sold under Geneva, Van Camp's, and Trader Joe's labels due to a defect in the pull tab lid that could compromise seal integrity and lead to Clostridium botulinum contamination. Botulism is rare, but potentially fatal, causing muscle paralysis, breathing difficulties, and death. Century brand flaked light tuna was recalled in Canada for undeclared wheat, a serious risk for anyone with celiac disease or gluten intolerance. These recalls affected products sold at major Canadian retailers. Beyond contamination risks, many canned tuna products contain surprising amounts of sodium. Some brands pack over 300 milligrams per serving, and the BPA question remains unresolved. Tuna cans, like other metal cans, may contain BPA or BPA, alternatives in their linings. The fish you thought was protecting your heart might be harming your brain and your blood pressure at the same time. Coming in at number 1, the canned food seniors need to avoid most. It's canned processed meats, including corned beef, Vienna sausages, and potted meats. This category represents the most dangerous canned foods you can buy. Let's start with the World Health Organization classification. Processed meats are Group 1 carcinogens. That puts them in the same category as cigarettes and asbestos for cancer risk. Consuming just 50 grams of processed meat daily, about 2 slices of bacon or a few Vienna sausages, increases colorectal cancer risk by 18%. Canned corned beef is particularly problematic. A single serving can contain over 800 milligrams of sodium. The fat content is astronomical, with high levels of saturated fat that contribute to arterial plaque and cardiovascular disease. These products are preserved with sodium nitrite, the same compound that forms carcinogenic nitrosamines when heated or digested. Vienna sausages and potted meat products are even worse. These mystery meats contain mechanically separated chicken, pork, and beef, essentially the scraps and byproducts ground together with salt, preservatives, and fillers. The sodium content can exceed 900 milligrams per small can. For seniors, these foods represent a perfect storm of health risks. The sodium elevates blood pressure. The saturated fat raises cholesterol. The nitrites increase cancer risk. The processed nature provides minimal nutritional benefit while delivering maximum harm. The CFIA tested canned meat products and found BPA in 42% of samples. Canned meat had some of the highest BPA detection rates of any category tested. You're not just getting questionable meat, you're getting it packaged in potentially toxic containers. These products promise convenience and protein. They deliver sodium bombs, carcinogens, and chemical exposure. For anyone over 50, they should be permanently removed from your diet. The safe options. Now, here's what you've been waiting for. After all that, you're probably wondering, is anything actually safe? The answer is yes, and I promised I'd tell you. The first actual safe option is Eden Organic Beans. Eden Foods has been using BPA-free cans since 1999, over 2 decades before most companies even acknowledged the problem. Their cans are lined with an enamel made from vegetable resins, not industrial chemicals. They're certified organic, meaning no pesticides or GMOs. And here's the best part for seniors. They offer no salt-added versions with just 15 to 40 milligrams of sodium per serving, compared to 400 or more in conventional brands. Eden Organic Beans are cooked with kombu seaweed, which actually helps make them more digestible and reduces gas. The ingredient list is simple: organic beans, water, and kombu. That's it. No mystery additives, no hidden chemicals, no compromises. For seniors managing blood pressure, diabetes, or heart disease, Eden Organic represents what canned food should be: convenient, nutritious, and genuinely safe. The second recommendation is Wild Planet Wild Albacore Tuna. If you're going to eat canned seafood, Wild Planet is the gold standard. Their cans are BPA-free with non-BPA lining materials. Their tuna is pole and line caught, which is the most sustainable method and results in lower mercury levels because they catch smaller, younger fish. Wild Planet offers no salt-added varieties with 0 added sodium. They cook their tuna just once, in the can, which preserves more omega-3 fatty acids than conventional processing methods. Independent testing consistently shows their products have lower mercury levels than competitors. For seniors who want the heart-healthy benefits of fish without the mercury concerns and sodium overload, Wild Planet delivers. It costs more than budget brands, but your health is worth the investment. You just learned the truth about 9 canned foods that could be harming your health, and 2 options that are genuinely worth your trust. But this is just the beginning. Every week, we expose the hidden dangers in everyday foods that companies don't want you to know about, and we share the alternatives that can actually protect your health. Don't risk your well-being on products that prioritize profits over people. Subscribe now, hit that notification bell, and join thousands of Canadians who are taking control of their health, one informed choice at a time. Your pantry doesn't have to be a danger zone. Let us show you the way. Subscribe now. And if you're watching on TV, tap your remote so you never get blindsided again.